Hey, heads up, bitches. Welcome to another episode of Cut the Shit. I am Christian Tucker, giving you just another idiot's view of the world. I will be ranting and raving about this week's crap that has caught my attention for its stupidity or its uniqueness or its newsworthiness, or at least what I deem newsworthy anyways. As always, don't forget to catch us on the web at www.cuttheshitalready.com. There you will find links to hit to subscribe to our podcast. Also, you'll find a link to Twitter. Our Twitter handle is at PLZ Cut the Shit, as well as Facebook. You can go to www.facebook.com/Cut the Shit Already /. Got something good to say or pass along? Do it at any of these locations. Got some putrid shit to spew my direction? Do it there also, dirtbag. We welcome it all. Okay, so let's get this shit going, shall we? Well, hello. Welcome to Cut the Shit Podcast. It's good to have you back. This is episode 20. We've actually made it to 20 episodes. I think there's actually 21 in the can, because there was a two-parter once. But anyways, so listen, for episode 20, I have no outline, I have no script, I have nothing at all to talk about. But I got to get one in the can. And so driving this morning, I was thinking, what the hell could I talk about? And I thought, what's going on in my life? And I realized I got a shit ton going on in my life right now. So I'm not going to get into all of that. But last night, I had an education by my son on something. We were sitting around talking, and he filled me into something I wasn't even aware of. I've been on this planet for 46 years, and I'd never even heard of this thing. I'm like, what? I said, what the hell are you even talking about? So he explains it to me. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, bullshit. So I go ahead and I Google it, and sure enough, it's a fucking thing. And I thought, well, if this is real, then it makes sense to why the past couple weeks have gone the way they've gone. You say, what's gone on the past couple weeks, Christian? And you also probably say, what's this fucking thing your son told you that you didn't realize it even existed, even though you've been on the planet for 46 years. Leave it to a 20-year-old with a YouTube obsession to educate you on some shit you don't know, right? Well, I'll get to what he told me existed, but let's talk about a couple of things that have taken place here. So, my son was driving my 2014 convertible Mustang. I have a Nissan truck. He was driving my Mustang. He used to have a 2005 convertible Mustang, but didn't have a job, wasn't paying for it, so I sold it, got rid of it. Didn't really change things because I then let him use my 2014, so an upgrade really, and I kept telling him, get a job, that type of stuff. So finally I told him, listen, you're going to turn 20 on March 31st. On April 1st, I'm taking that car and selling it. If you don't have a payment to me and able to maintain this car, it's gone. And mostly because the car payment wasn't bad. It was $233 a month. But what was bad was my insurance rates. Having my son, who's, again, going to be 20 at this time, he's 19, on my insurance, and he's had 2 speeding tickets. It was costing me an extra $300 a month to have him on my car insurance. So when I'd call the insurance company and ask them what would my insurance rates drop down to if I sold the Mustang, I was fucking flabbergasted. It was going to drop down $300 a month. I was going to save $300 a month if I sold this Mustang. So $300 a month in insurance payment, which is fucking out of this world, right? And $233 for the Mustang. That's $533. Let's just call it $550 a month was being saved if I got rid of the Mustang. So it was a no fucking brainer to me. So I sold the Mustang. Didn't make as much on it as I would have liked, but that's fucking life, right? And up to that point, me and my son had been looking at Harley Davidsons and so forth, and we decided we both wanted to get a Harley and do the whole father-son Harley Davidson thing together, right? So we'd been looking online, going to Harley stores and going to other bike stores looking. And he finally found one that he loved. Just fell in love with it. It's a place over in Dallas or Irving or something. It's called Maverick Harley Davidson. So it's here in the Dallas area. And just like any dealership, the people are always nice to you during the buying process, right? They want to be nice because they want your fucking money. So we find the bike that he really, really likes. And I said, well, let's go home. Let's fucking talk about it. So we go home. We talk about it the whole 9 yards. I'm in his ass again about jobs and paying for it. I said, it's going in your name. You're going to get... Because he's got a great credit score. He's like at 760 or some shit. And it's because when I opened up Best Buy cards or Home Depot cards, I put him on as a secondary. And it helped with his credit score. The problem we end up finding out is he still didn't have any credit. So even though he had a great credit score, he had no credit history. So it's a little tough to get a loan for him. Anyways, so we agree to move forward, get this bike, and Harley gives you a free training class if you buy the bike. And so he wants me to take the training class with him if we end up buying this bike. And I tell him I will. I'll just pay for my class and we'll do it together. Because to be honest, I haven't ridden a motorcycle, since 19, maybe 20, something like that. It's been a long time, so might as well just say I haven't ridden a bike at all, right? This cigar is wanting to fight me. It's really pissing me off, especially since I just ran out of fluid in my lighter. So, again, I'm going to try to keep this in the timeline and not jump around like Quentin Tarantino in Pulp Fiction or some shit. So, we go back to the dealership the next day. The bike was like $83.99 or something, and then by the time you did taxes and document fees and all that other bullshit, it came up to like $9,700. By the way, in that, all those fucking fees for a used bike, this was a 2017, only had 1,200 miles on it. There is an $895 prep fee from Harley Davidson to prep the bike up for sale. Basically, they bring it in. If it needs a new battery or oil change, stuff of that nature, they get it all done. Again, this is a 2017 bike with 1,200 miles. It doesn't need anything. It doesn't need tires, oil change, all that type of shit. I get it. There's some bikes that probably need more than $895 worth of shit, so it all kind of balances out. But I really don't give a fuck about those bikes. I give a fuck about the one I'm buying. And $895 for a prep fee is out of this fucking world stupid. I sold boats for a while there in Pensacola, and we would have like $1,200 rigging fees on a $45,000 boat. So now you're telling me I'm going to have a $900 fee on an $8,400 fucking bike? 10%? You're out of your fucking mind. So, at this point, I don't know that $895 fee, right? So, I sit there with the guy, and we negotiate it down from $9,700 to $9,000 out the door, tax, title, license. And listen, it's a 2017 Sportster, right? 883. I know there's not much of a markup on those new because it's a low-end bike. And somebody trades it in the first year, they get what they paid for it on trade-in. So I also know when they're trading it in and they put it back out for sale, there's really not any money to be made probably on this bike. They're going to make it on accessories and other bullshit. So to get $700 off on the bike, I'm cool with. If we're talking a $25,000 bike, I'm wanting more off. But not for a $9,000 bike with tax, title, and license. So that was the deal. $9,000 out the fucking door. Great. Well, the next day, so he had to run some credit checks and do all that type of shit. And we had a bunch of other stuff to do. We had to end up leaving. Because the next day, I was going to Florida for 2 weeks. Me and my dad were heading out. We're going to go look at some property and so forth. So I just tell my son and his mom that when they go to the Harley place, just go in, take pictures of the paperwork so I can take a look at it before they sign anything, and we'll just get this damn thing done. So what happens is they get there and they sign the paperwork and they do a bunch of shit. They call me and ask a couple questions, but they don't send me any pictures. They don't tell me the numbers. I'm asking them for it. They don't have it in front of them. It's on the computer. Fucking yakka. Finally, I'm busy, doing my shit in Florida. We already negotiated $9,000 out the door price. I'm like, just, for a 5-year note, by the way. So just sign the fucking shit, whatever, get it done. So that's what all happens. So then I come back from Florida, and I'm like, hey, let me look at where's the paperwork stuff? So I look at the paperwork. Oh, so let me back up. So while I'm in Florida, they call me after everything's said and done and say, hey, good news. Do you remember the wheel insurance and the gap insurance? And I'm like, yeah, I remember that. What's up? They're like, well, they got it to us for free. I said, oh, really? They gave it to you for free. How'd that happen? Oh, they said they lowered the interest rate, which kept the payment the same. I got a bad feeling about this, right? But I'm in Florida. It's already been signed. I'm like, great. I'll take a look at it when I get back. But I know better than this. Nobody gives you anything for fucking free. And they didn't lower the interest rate enough to fucking add that in and keep the same fucking payment. So bullshit. And if they could lower the interest rate, then fucking do it and don't do this other shit. But anyways, so I get back. I look at the paperwork. And sure enough, there's the fucking gap. Gap was $899. Are you fucking kidding me? I've got gap before on like an expensive truck or an expensive car, and it's never cost me $900, and that's on a fucking car, not a motorcycle, motherfuckers. Then there was wheel and tire insurance for $295, and then there was some other bullshit for $5 right? $550 for some other type of fucking insurance. So they fucking put these 3 fucking insurances on this fucking policy, and sure enough, the payment's the same. But guess what? It's not for 5 years. It's for fucking 6 years. So they totally fucking lied to my, kid and Tammy. They lied to those two. They lied about getting it for free, which I knew was a fucking bullshit lie. They said they were able to lower the fucking interest rate. Bullshit. The interest rate's pretty fucking high. We'll get that shit refinanced here in a couple months after he builds up some credit, right? But they took it from 5 years to fucking 6 years. That's 12 more payments at just over $200 a month. So you're talking roughly extra $2,500. Fuck them. So now I'm pissed. So the next day I grab his little ass and we go up to the Harley Davidson place. And I tell him, keep your mouth shut. Let me do all the talking. If somebody's going to get pissy and shitty, let it be me. Because now he's upset too, because he feels like these guys took advantage of him, knowing that Dad was out of town. He was there trying to handle it himself, and he did all the negotiating. He did everything himself. But he feels like when it came time to find the paperwork, they pulled a fast one on him and fucked him and kind of embarrassed him. And he doesn't need to be embarrassed. I told him everybody gets fucked on their first car, motorcycle, boat, whatever the fucking first thing it is you buy. And then sometimes you get fucked on your second, third, and probably every fucking vehicle you've ever bought. So don't fucking sweat this. So I'm in there, and we start to kind of get into it. I said, listen, you told them you were able to get it to them for free because you lowered the interest rate, which effectively wiped off the charges and kept the monthly same payment. I said, what you didn't fucking say is you took it from 5 years to fucking 6 years to keep that payment the same. So this is fucking bullshit. I'm not fucking happy. Now instead of paying $9,000 out the fucking door for this bike, I'm up at like 10 fucking 5. This is fucking ridiculous. And again, I'm not fucking happy about it. So we're fucking going around and around. Of course, my son has signed the contract, right? The bike's fucking his. There's, the 3-day grace period, if there even was one, is gone because of me being gone in Florida and shit. So, but I do read he can cancel the gap within 30 days and the other 2 insurance things within 30 days. And I know that this fucking finance manager makes his money selling the fucking insurance shit. So I just tell him flat out, here it is. I can cancel these and you don't make a fucking penny. Or you fucking work with me. I said, because if I'd been here, I might have told my son to get the gap because it's his first motorcycle fucking ever. He is 20. And the possibilities of him wrecking it and maybe totaling it in the first year, might be fairly high. So I would have maybe suggested that, yeah, he get the gap. But I said we wouldn't have paid no fucking $899 for it. I said maybe half that, about $450 or some shit. So I said, listen, you need to put some pen to paper and figure out how much you want to give us back on that fucking insurance. Or I just cancel it and you guys lose every fucking penny on it and you lose your fucking commission on it. So me and my kid, we get up, we go walking around and shit. Of course, we're looking at the jackets and, my son already bought a helmet. I will say this, that he got a $750 in-store gift card to use when he bought the bike. So that was kind of a nice little perk. So, he bought a helmet and some gloves and stuff. So, but, he wants to add some new tires to it with some white walls. And, he just wants to add some other things. We're looking at all that shit. We come back and they offer a deal. They're going to give us some money back on an in-store gift card that he could use. And then they're going to give me my MSF motorcycle training class for free, which is a $219 what they charge there. So I tell them to talk to my son, talk to Cannon about this, and he's not entirely happy. He's really pissed that he feels like they fucked him, and he didn't realize they fucked him. But he agrees to do it. So he takes the gift card that they offer. I get my free class. He immediately takes the gift card up to the parts counter, and he buys the 2 tires with the white walls for his bike that he wanted. As a matter of fact, we picked the bike up this afternoon. So that'd be exciting. So there's the whole ordeal with Harley and trying to buy a fucking Harley, okay? It's just like anything else. They're going to try to fuck you. They're going to try to squeeze every penny out of you. They're going to try to do whatever the fuck they can. Read the contract. Look at the terms. Look at the year. Is it 60 months or is it 72 months or is it 84 months? Check that shit. Just be aware of it. So it was a really good learning lesson for my 20-year-old son. It was a good lesson for Tammy as well, to not just hear, hey, I'm going to give you this for free, because people hear that, most people, and they get excited. Oh my God, this guy he's doing us a solid. He's giving us this shit for free. That's really nice of him. No, he's not. Fucking figure out what the fuck's going on here. Ask him what the fucking catch is, and if he doesn't give it to you, fucking start reading through it, find the fucking catch. There's always a fucking catch. No one's giving you $1,500 worth of warranty shit for fucking free, okay? So, and then I guess I learned my lesson of, just stay a little more on top of it. So anyways, so now it comes time to take our driving test, right, for the motorcycle. We're going to go do this 3-day course. It's a Friday night classroom, Saturday all day on a bike learning, and Sunday half a day on the bike doing some more learning, and then taking a skills test. So that Friday comes up. Well, I thought to myself, I don't necessarily want this 20-year-old on a motorcycle all the damn time. Plus, what if he has dates? Or what if it's raining and all that type of stuff? I had a 89 Mitsubishi Montero. I'll try to flash a picture up on the screen, that I had restored. And it had, my son, the same son, blew the engine in it a couple years back, taking it out in the snow and try to go crazy in 4-wheel drive out there in the snow and having fun. Ended up blowing the engine because the radiator hose came off where it mounted to the engine itself, and he didn't know it. And so anyways, so I had to put a new engine in it. And then I had to pay to get it tuned up and work out some tweaks and stuff. But I decided at this point I've already put $22,000, $23,000, maybe $24,000 into this Montero, restoring it. And I'm just done. I'm done with it. I want to move on to something fucking different. So I put it in the paper and I sell it. Again, I didn't get anything near what I had. I had it appraised. It was appraised at $17,500. I didn't get anywhere near the appraisal, and I knew I wouldn't. An appraisal on an old vehicle like that, it's worth the paper that it's fucking written on. But anyways, you may be able to find some idiot that's willing to pay $17,500 for that. I wasn't. I was able to find somebody that paid a little over half for that. Okay, so I sell that, and I got a bunch of cash in hand now. Right, I'm just flush with money, and I said, I was telling Tammy, I said, I don't want him to not have a fucking car, and I've done so much for this fucking kid, and I'm tired of making payments on sort of shit. I said, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take $2,500 and just buy him a cash car. Now he's got his motorcycle that's in his name, and he's got this cash car, and I'm just going to look at him and say, I'm done. Not helping anymore. You got to take care of yourself now. You're 20, you're a big boy, get jobs, take care of your car, oil changes and all that type of shit, right? So that was my plan. And so I tell him about it, and so we get on Craigslist and eBay and Auto Trader, and we start looking at shit, and we're looking all over the fucking map at first, right? We're looking at anything under, $3,000 type of thing. I'm thinking $3,000, I can negotiate them down to $2,500 or even less. So I'm looking at practical cars, little Honda Civics or Camrys or Nissan Sentras or something that are maybe 5 or 6 years old. Nothing with too big a sex appeal. And of course, the 20-year-old kid, he's looking at everything with fucking sex appeal, right? Datsun 280Zs, Mazda Miatas, all types of crazy fucking shit. Well, he ends up sending me one that I look at, and I'm like, wow, that's actually a really good-looking car, and the price, it's a little fucking high, but maybe we can get them down. And it was on a 1992 Mazda Miata convertible, but it also had a hardtop, which was kind of the selling point for me. So, of course, we go and we look at this Mazda Miata. It's a stick. My son doesn't know how to drive a stick. Tammy doesn't know how to drive a stick. I'm the only one who knows how to drive a stick. So, me and my son, we go look at it, right? And we take it for a test drive. It runs great. The inside is really nice. The fabric on the seats is extremely good condition for a 1992. The carpeting in it's nice. Everything in it's really pretty fucking nice for a 1992. The soft top, it needs some work. But that's not the end of the world because we've got a hard top that's in perfect fucking condition. So we take it for a test drive and it runs good. So we bring it back and I'm starting negotiating with the guy. And, originally in the ad, he was originally at $49.95. And then he had down to $39.95, And so him and I are going back and forth on pricing and all this other shit. So in the end, I ended up spending about $1,000 more than what I wanted for it. So I pulled my kid aside. I said, listen, you want this fucking car? And of course he's like, yeah. I said, no fucking shit. I'll pay the extra fucking $1,000, but you're getting a job tomorrow. I don't care if it's scooping dog shit out of a fucking kennel. You're giving me my fucking $1,000. First $1,000 you make, it comes right back to me. He's like, I know, I love you. Let's do that, blah, blah, blah. So we get the fucking Mazda. And so the back window, though, the zipper isn't unzipping, and we're having a hard time getting the damn thing to fold down and stuff. We can't figure it out because it's got a full glass back window, not one of those vinyl ones. So he's like, I've got a vinyl guy. He can come over tomorrow and he can fix it. So then tell you what, I'll give you $500 right now to hold it. I'll sign the paperwork. I'll give you $500. You have your guy over here tomorrow and fix it. But if he doesn't fix it or if he can't fix it, then we walk away from this deal and we get our money back. So that's where we were. So of course the next day I come and the guy had fixed it and the soft top was able to go all the way down and so forth. Like I said, it's gonna need a new soft top. So we finished up the deal. Now it had a stereo, but it was missing the faceplate. It had one of those detachable faceplates, right? So I'm like, hey, have you been able to find the? We asked him the day before. He said he would look for it. Have you been able to find the faceplate for the stereo? He's like, no, I've never been able to find it. So now at this point, I'm like, fuck you. I should just keep $100 back because of this fucking shit. But at this point, I'm just done. Between Harley Davidson and this guy, I'm wiped the fuck out on negotiating for vehicles. On top of this, I'm going to get into it here in a second, I've been negotiating with people in Florida on land. So I'm negotiating left, right, middle, fucking on anything that you could possibly buy, I'm negotiating with people on. And I'm just worn out at this point, and I don't give a fuck about $100 for the fucking stereo plate. Besides, I tell myself it's probably an old hunk of shit fucking stereo. Let's just get the car and get the fuck out of here. So we do. So that's on Friday. And that Friday night, we're going to start the Harley Davidson class, right? So, of course, the 20-year-old Cannon, he's got a heart on. He don't want to just take this car home and sit in the driveway and all that shit. So we go and we start practicing and learn how to drive. Now, he knows how to drive. He just doesn't know how to drive a stick. He gets the fundamentals of it, but everybody gets the fundamentals of it. It's putting it into fucking practice that you always find out it's a little harder. So we spent about 2 hours practicing in this, in the mall parking lot over by where we lived. And then we had to put the car up and now go to our class. So we sat the class that night for 3 hours or so, 6:30, 9:30, something like that. And watched a bunch of videos and all that bullshit. Next morning, we had to be at the Harley Davidson dealership at 7 in the morning to start our class. And of course, it rains all day. So we're out there learning how to ride a motorcycle. He's never ridden one. I basically have never ridden one. And we're learning how to ride it in the rain. But it didn't really bother us because we knew we'd probably get caught out in the rain at some point anyways. And the bikes were pretty easy to handle in the fucking rain. So the rain really didn't bother us. So we basically spent 8 hours on a bike all day Saturday. And then when we get off, we go home. I'm mentally fucking exhausted. I'm just mentally fucking exhausted. He's mentally fucking exhausted. Neither one of us really want to even go try to learn the fucking car bullshit today. We basically take a shower and crash. Because Sunday we have to get up again at 7 fucking a.m. So we get up at Sunday, 7 a.m. We get our ass down there. So from 7 to noon, we do a bunch of really difficult maneuvers, figure eights, U-turns in a tight pattern, and just a bunch of weird little shit, swerving to miss some obstacles and stuff. Again, as it's only our second day on a fucking bike ever, it seemed pretty fucking difficult. So, come noon or whatever, it's now time to take our skills test for the day. And to be quite honest, after Saturday when we were done, our confidence was sky high. We were able to start it. We were able to take off in first. Shift to second, shift to third. Actually, you weren't able to shift to third. These bikes only had first and second. They had a governor on them, right? But we were able to make our turns. We were able to do a bunch of shit that first day. So our confidence is sky fucking high. The next day, right out of the gate, we went for something that we couldn't do. We didn't have the skills to fucking do it. And immediately tanked our confidence for the rest of the fucking day. We lost our confidence big time, right? So now it's time for the skills test to get your endorsement. And what that means is if you pass these 5 driving skills on the bike, you will get an endorsement card. You then take that to the DMV, give them the endorsement card, and you get a license for a motorcycle. You don't have to go through all the bullshit at the DMV. So it's kind of nice. But right before our skills test, I was talking to everybody there. I said, does anybody here feel they deserve a fucking license? I mean, is this really all it takes to get a fucking license? Because my skill set isn't where it needs to be, I feel, to have a license. And I said, my son's isn't either. Of course, everybody kept going, well, I don't know what their requirements are for a license. I said, fuck their requirements. Who gives a fuck? You personally just did a day and a half of education on a motorcycle. Do you feel confident enough to take this motorcycle out of your driveway, down your fucking street, up onto a secondary highway to the grocery store or to a quick trip or what the fuck ever to pick up some shit? Do you feel comfortable enough to get up on a highway and take it to the next fucking city over? Do you feel you have the skills to ride this bike safely and not kill yourself? Fuck their requirements. What do you feel? And of course, then everybody's like, nah, I really don't feel that comfortable. I'm like, so then why the fuck are they going to give us a license? Because most people get a license and they think they're fucking good to go. I said, if I get this fucking license, I said, I'm still not going to go and ride this bike for a fucking month or so. I'm going to take it up to parking lots and get better at this shit. Because I know my weaknesses. My weaknesses, oh God, are tight fucking turns, right? My leaning, my counter leaning, I get those fucking confused. I'm still having problems with feathering the clutch and finding my friction zone. Panic and let out the, just some stupid shit. So I got fucking work to do. Because I ain't pulling the shit I was pulling that day on the course at a light or on the fucking road somewhere. So there's 5 courses you got to take, right? So the first one, bam, we nailed it. It was an easy one, kind of get your confidence going. It's like, great. The second one was sitting still and making a sharp right turn and then doing a U-turn on basically what is the equivalent of the width of a 2-lane road. So I'm letting out my clutch and I'm doing my throttle. I'm trying to find my friction zone. And something happens as I'm making my turn, but I let off the fucking clutch, which then lurches the bike completely forward. I go through my goddamn turn. I go 10 feet outside of the 2-lane road. I'm trying to get back in it to do my U-turn. I mean, it was the most disastrous thing you had ever seen. If you could imagine the worst case fucking scenario, that was it. I mean, I totally fucking blew it, right? And I knew I blew it at that point. I'm like, God damn it. I was cussing myself, and I was just disappointed. But now all I can think of is, all right, let's hope Cannon gets through this good. He had trouble, not like I did. God damn, he did 10 times better than I did. But he put his foot down in the U-turn and stuff, and you're not supposed to do that. So then each test after that, it got progressively worse. It got in my head, and I was just, I was fucking toast. So, of course, at the end of it, they are calling out people who didn't pass. We started off with 10, by the way, and 4 of them end up passing. So, maybe it was a little more difficult than all of us had thought. Maybe our teachers weren't the greatest. I think they were okay. I don't really have a problem with them. But me and Cannon, we didn't pass the skills test that day. So, major kick in the fucking gut, right? But I'm trying to stay positive. Like, hey, we learned a lot. We know what our mistakes are. We'll just keep fucking practicing and get this shit taken care of. I said, only a day and a half ever on a motorcycle in our entire lives. Not fucking bad. You know, so I'm trying to keep his spirits up on that shit. So we get home, and to his credit, he's like, I don't want to just sit around the house. Let's go learn some more on the fucking Miata. I'm like, all right, let's do it. You know, we had a little conversation that trying to learn how to drive a stick shift in a car and then trying to learn shifting gears on a bike might have been messing with his head a little bit. Because I keep telling him in the car, keep your foot off the fucking clutch. Keep your foot off the clutch. You know, let the clutch off, you know, slowly, let it fast, do whatever, blah, blah, blah. And on the motorcycle, you're constantly on the clutch. Constantly on the fucking clutch. You almost never take your hands off of it, right? So some of that probably caused him some issues. So we go and we do our driving again, and he's doing really fucking good. But he's having trouble on an incline, right? And so I have him just keep going onto this hill, and I get out and I get behind him, and I act like I'm a motorcycle rider behind him on the car, and tell him lights change green, and then for having to take off. The first 10 times he's panicking and he's rolling back and he's revving the fucking engine and shit. But after about half an hour, he pretty much gets this down. So we're all good there. So, you know, now we still got to figure out how to ride this fucking motorcycle and get it home. I think I'm going to have my dad ride it home so that him or I don't fucking kill ourselves on it, so we can do some more practicing. In the meantime, I'm thinking about buying like a cheap little $1,500 motorcycle so that him and I could practice on it, and if we dump it and destroy it, no big fucking deal, right? So, you ask, earlier we kind of talked about some things about my son teaching me about something that I had never heard of. And it correlates to everything I just told you. So last night, me, Ken, and Tammy were all sitting out by the pool, and we're just talking, bullshit and whatever. And my son brings up, I bring up the land in Florida that we've made some offers on some land, and we're dealing with the owners on this shit, and yaka, yaka, yaka. And he goes, well, you probably need to get these deals wrapped up pretty quickly before the next Mercury Retrograde comes around. And I just look up, I'm smoking a cigar, and I look up at him and I go, what the fuck are you talking about? I said, that's some astrology shit? Because that sounds like some astrology shit to me. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against astrology shit. I'm a Leo, and just like anybody else, we like to read our horoscopes because they're always flattering to us, right? So he's like, you never heard of Mercury Retrograde? I said, no, I've never heard of Mercury Retrograde. What's that? So he goes on to explain Mercury Retrograde. And I'm like, are you fucking sure? What the fuck is this shit? So I end up pulling it up on Google, right? So let me see. I got one here. Here is Mercury Retrograde. Due to the way our own orbit interacts with those of other planets, they might sometimes appear to be traveling backward through the night sky with respect to the zodiac. This is, in fact, an illusion, which we call apparent retrograde motion. Several times a year, it appears as if Mercury is going backwards. These times in particular were traditionally associated with confusions, delay, and frustration. Perhaps Mercury's retrograde periods can cause our plans to go awry. However, this is an excellent time to reflect on the past. So it gets into all that crap. But, so some other stuff that I was reading is basically there's times when Mercury actually speeds past us in the orbit, and then will actually kind of slow down and fall back into its normal routine or some shit. But apparently it's real. It's a real phenomenon. So in 2018, for instance, there's 3 times that Mercury will be in retrograde. One of them is March 23rd to April 15th. Keep those dates in mind. July 26th to August 19th. That's lovely. My birthday is July 29th. And November 17th to December 6th. So it sounds like around Thanksgiving time we'll be fucking with us again. So, March 23rd to April 15th. And here's what they say. What to do when Mercury is in retrograde, okay? So the planet Mercury rules communication, travel, contracts, automobiles, and such. So when Mercury is retrograde, remain flexible, allow time for extra travel, and avoid signing contracts. Review projects and plans at these times, but wait until Mercury is direct again to make any final decisions. Really? This explains a fucking shit ton. Again, whether you believe it or not, the whole time I'm in Florida looking for land, I've got a schedule, you know. We're going from Pensacola to Destin to Panama City, then down to Clearwater and to Tampa, and then work our way back up. That's kind of our little course. Of course, it gets fucked up basically the first day we're there. My dad's not going to be able to go all the way to Tampa. He's going to have to fly back or drive back for some work-related shit. So everything kind of gets all messed up. I spend the entire time in Florida looking at property, driving from property to property to property to property, from town to town, city to city, county to fucking county, looking at different properties, reaching out to some people, trying to negotiate on some land during this March 23rd to April 15th time frame, right? In the meantime, I'm also trying to negotiate this Harley Davidson. And in the meantime, I'm also trying to negotiate the Mazda Miata. And it's all taking place in this apparent Mercury retrograde. And so it's no wonder that I felt frustrated and like I was getting my ass handed to me and like I was getting bent over, honestly, because of this Mercury retrograde. And again, I've been on this planet 46 years. I like to stay informed about everything. I love, astrology. I love science. I love, theology. I love history. I love it all. And so for me to go 46 years on this planet and never hear about Mercury retrograde was a little fucking mind-blowing to me last night. So I guess the moral of all this is, if you are looking to buy a motorcycle, if you are looking to buy a fucking car, or if you're looking to buy a land or a house or something of this nature, you might just might want to check and see if Mercury is in retrograde. Even if you don't believe it, might fucking take a chance, right? Because, yeah, I had a hell of a time trying to juggle all 3 of these, trying to negotiate all 3 of these. The frustration level was at a fucking high. And, it could have had something to do with Mercury retrograde. Well, there you have it. Now you know. I want to thank you again for joining us for the podcast. Again, I didn't really have anything planned. I didn't have any outlines made up. I didn't have any scripts. I didn't have any subjects. Just kind of winged this based off the frustrations of things that I've just recently learned. And some lessons that I just recently learned. So again, I want to thank you for joining us. As always, check out the website, www.cuttheshitalready.com. And there you can find the podcast. You can find some videos. You can find us on YouTube as well. Facebook, Twitter, all that good shit. Anyways, as Ron Burgundy always says, stay classy. And until next time, guys.